This is an explanation for number 4 from either page 37 in the actual textbook, or if you have the academic geometry note packet, this is on page 6. Okay, so we looked at the answer in class. It is negative 644, but I want to show you a couple ways you could get that. So first, let me go over the graphical approach. If you either feel okay about that one or you prefer to see the algebraic one, feel free to fast forward this video until you get to that point. Okay, so I have so far plotted one of these endpoints at 12, negative 8. And just a note, I made my scale by 2 because, as you can see, this answer is, even as is going to fall off the grid here a little bit. But that's what I did there. So the midpoint then I put at 318, and I just labeled them E for endpoint, M for midpoint. I'm going to call my last missing point F. So I know it's like somewhere up here. I just don't know where, right? I want to go the same distance away and keep going in that same direction. I just have to figure out where that is exactly. So here's what we're going to do, and let me actually put these coordinates on here as well. I think that's helpful. So that's 12, negative 8. That's 318. So to get from E to M, I have to go either along that line that I drew there, that segment, or in this, along this path. I could also go over and up. Okay, so I just have to figure out how far over and how far up am I going. So you can either count. It's a little harder on this one because the numbers are bigger and they're a little further apart. But you could also use these coordinates here, the x coordinates. So this direction here, I could either count or know that from 12 back to 3 is a difference of 9. So I'm subtracting 9. I'm going to put minus 9 there. And then from negative 8 all the way up to 18, I'm going up 26 units. So I'm just going to repeat that. I'm going to go left 9. Now let me try to do that carefully here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, I think is where we want. And then up 26 is going to be a little harder. On my grid, that's just 13 blocks because I've gone by 2. So let me count that. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Uh-oh, I'm running off. 11, 12. Let's just say it's right about here is where we end up. So that's up 26 units. Okay, so that puts me, here's my last point here, we'll just call it F to give it a name. So I can see it, but now I have to figure out where it is. So option 1, if you have the grid there, you could just count. Again, a little bit harder this time, only because the numbers are so big. Why isn't it letting me do this? There we go. Okay, option 2, use the coordinates that you have listed there so far to help you do this. So I know that again, I went left 9 and up 26. So kind of, this is where I left off, was at point M. So if I'm going left 9 more, so if I'm starting at 3 and I'm subtracting 9, that puts me at negative 6 in the x direction. And then if I'm at 18 and I'm going to go up 26, I'm going to do 18 plus 26, and I can get 44 out of that. And you can probably do something similar without actually graphing it. You just have to figure out, like, what's the difference between E and M, and then just repeat that to get to that other endpoint, which again I called F. The other option is to work with the equation. So I'm going to rewrite my points here. So I've got one of my points at 12, negative 8. Oops, negative 8. My other point, which I'm calling F, I don't know where it is, so let's just call it XY. And then the midpoint, I do know that's at 318. So this is where I'm going to set up those little average calculations. The average of my x's, well, let's set it up. So the average of these two numbers would look like this if I wrote it out. I know it feels a little strange to do that because we don't know x, but this still expresses the average of them. Add them up, divide by 2. Here's the difference this time. I already know that that should be 3. So let's solve for x. Multiply both sides by 2, and then subtract 12 from both sides. I get negative 6. I'm going to do something similar here for my average y coordinate. The average of negative 8 and y, if I was to write that out, would look like this. But again, I already know what that should be. It should be 18. When I multiply both sides by 2, I get 36 on the right, and then I'm going to add 8 to get 44. I get negative 6, 44 that way. Okay, hopefully that helped you with that problem. As always, reach out to me if you have any extra questions.